Welcome to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today we're steering into one of the most explosive defense disputes in decades, a high-stakes clash between Washington and Ottawa that's making waves across NATO. U.S. President Donald Trump wants $20 billion in submarine contracts directed to U.S. shipyards. But Canada has slammed that demand shut, forging ahead with its own $60 billion Canadian Patrol submarine project. With Germany's ThyssenKrupp and South Korea's Hanwha now in the driver's seat, this isn't just about steel and sonar, it's about sovereignty, industry, and the future of Allied defense. Let's dive into the key developments. Canada's bold dive. Why now? Canada's Victoria-class submarines, bought used from the UK in 1998, were meant as a stopgap but have limped on for decades, plagued by high maintenance and low availability, often with just one boat ready at a time. Now the Arctic is changing fast, melting sea ice is opening new routes, Russia is stepping up under ice patrols, and China is flexing blue water ambitions. Add NATO pressure for Canada to edge toward 2% of GDP on defense, and the case for a modern fleet is undeniable. The Canadian Patrol submarine project aims to deliver new patrol subs by the mid-2030s before the Victorias retire. These boats must endure Arctic operations, stay stealthy, and extend range, while also fueling Canadian industry from Halifax to Vancouver. By excluding U.S. builders and demanding domestic participation, Ottawa is hedging against tariffs and politics. The gamble? Trade reliance for resilience, accepting short-term political pushback to secure submarines tailored for Canadian waters and priorities. And this is where Trump entered the picture, determined to make Canada's procurement story an America First opportunity. Trump's $20 billion push for U.S. shipyards. Donald Trump's message was blunt. If Canada is buying submarines, they should be built in America, on Canada's dime. He pitched it as a triple win: secure supply chains for U.S. defense, jobs for shipyard towns like Groton and Newport News, and a showcase for America First industrial policy. The headline figure, $20 billion, became symbolic of the lifeline U.S. plants expected in steel, hull work, and electronics. But Ottawa refused. Handing its largest naval contract overseas clashed with its priorities: sovereign sustainment, domestic industry, and protection from U.S. political cycles. Memories of tariffs on steel and aluminum reinforced the risks, cost spikes and delays mid-program. Trump's allies called Canada's stance a betrayal of American workers and NATO solidarity, warning it weakens the arsenal of democracy. Ottawa countered that diversifying strengthens resilience and avoids single-point failures, especially as U.S. yards are already maxed out with Columbia and Virginia-class subs. The result? A political stalemate and an industrial fork in the road, reshaping defense economics on both sides of the border. But if America is left fuming, Canada has already shifted gears toward a new reality, choosing between two foreign suppliers. Before we go further, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Piston Pundit. It helps us bring you more deep dives into the machines, markets, and moves shaping our world. Canada's submarine strategy: Hanwha versus ThyssenKrupp. Canada has narrowed its choices to two shipbuilding giants, South Korea's Hanwha Ocean and Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, or TKMS. Hanwha promotes speed and innovation with its KSS-3 design, featuring lithium-ion batteries for longer dives, advanced sensors, and room for future upgrades. Its aggressive pitch: sign by 2026, deliver 4 boats by 2035, and scale to a 12 sub-fleet by the early 2040s. TKMS counters with NATO credibility. Its 212CD, already ordered by Germany and Norway, relies on hydrogen fuel cell propulsion and proven Allied logistics, offering interoperability and reduced risk. The timeline aligns with Canada's mid-2030s goal, though shared production requires careful scheduling. Ottawa is weighing more than glossy brochures. Arctic survivability, endurance, acoustic stealth, payload options, and long-term sustainment all factor in, alongside how much intellectual property and domestic production Canada secures. Both bidders promise jobs and tech infusion. Ultimately, Canada must choose between Hanwha's fast, battery-forward approach and TKMS's alliance-tested model, aiming for a fleet built on Canadian priorities and timelines. But while Canada chooses its path, America is left to face the fallout, economically and politically. Fallout in America. Factories idle, clout in question. For America, Canada's rejection is a story of expectations dashed. U.S. shipyards, already stretched by Columbia-class and Virginia-class programs, saw Canadian orders as a cushion against trade cycles. Suppliers from steel mills in Pennsylvania to electronics firms eyeing sonar backlogs prepared for extra work. Instead, that demand vanished overnight. The impact is uneven. Major yards remain busy with Navy contracts, but smaller suppliers now face thinner pipelines and higher unit costs, affecting both naval and civilian aerospace lines. For labor, it's a missed chance to hire welders, electricians, and skilled trades the industry badly needs. Politically, the move dents America's industrial diplomacy. For decades, Washington kept allies tied in through shared kit and sustainment. Ottawa's Defiance signals others could follow. Critics blame tariff policies for pushing partners toward self-reliance, while Trump supporters argue it proves allies should spend more at home. Strategically, the U.S. now faces a credibility test. Can it remain the arsenal of democracy if even close allies bypass its shipyards? And this sets the stage for the bigger picture. What does this mean for NATO and the global balance? Shaking the map. NATO and the global ripple. Submarines aren't just vessels. They're symbols of sovereignty. Canada's decision to bypass U.S. shipyards signals a larger shift toward multipolar defense supply chains. Mid-tier powers are building regional ecosystems to cut reliance on any single country. Europe is already moving this way with joint projects and industrial policies favoring local jobs. If Canada aligns with Hanwha's Asian program or TKMS's European pipeline, it reinforces this trend of regional defense hubs. For NATO, the picture is mixed. Fragmented fleets complicate interoperability and logistics, yet diversified production enhances resilience against sanctions, cyber attacks, or bottlenecks. Ottawa is betting that resilience outweighs the costs, if supported by standards and joint exercises. Adversaries are watching. China gains if Allied submarine output slows. Russia gains if Arctic patrols lag. That's why Canada's mid-2030s deadline is critical. Timely delivery signals control over the Northwest Passage. Meanwhile, tech advances in batteries, quieting, and UUV autonomy could spill into civilian industries, giving Canada both jobs and innovation weight. Verdict: Canada's defiance, America's dilemma. Canada's rejection of U.S. submarine yards is more than procurement drama. It's a pivot in the defense relationship between two of the closest allies. For Canada, it's about sovereignty, jobs, and Arctic security. For the U.S., it's a warning. Influence and industrial clout are no longer automatic. Trump's $20 billion demand may have backfired, accelerating Canada's move toward Europe and Asia. With Hanwha and ThyssenKrupp now in the driver's seat, Ottawa's decision will shape not just its navy, but its alliances well into the 2040s. So what do you think? Should Canada have supported U.S. shipyards in the name of alliance solidarity, or was it right to prioritize its own industry? Do you believe Trump's tariff-heavy playbook helped drive Canada away, or would Ottawa have made this move regardless? And looking ahead, will this spark a trend where more allies bypass U.S. defense suppliers? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We love to hear from you. For the latest updates on the automotive world and more in-depth analysis, subscribe to Piston Pundit and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.